Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Boss Battle. This is episode 48, featuring SoulForge Fusion. I'm one of your hosts, Crypto Hot, alongside my co-host, Ramen Cash. Ramen, how you doing, my friend?
Man, I am doing amazing. Excited to get down with boss battles today. One of my favorite games I've been playing in the background. So I'm looking to reanimate myself like Hantu the Restless up in this episode. I'm ready to go.
Well, you were so excited that your mouth was open and you were talking. That was crazy. I don't know how you did that.
Yes, my friend. I'm ready.
We also are joined by Clouds for the win.
Yo, what is up, guys? Super excited, dude. Super happy to have SoulForge here with us. It's gonna be a great show. I actually was lucky enough to get myself a physical deck from you guys when we were down at Battle. So really fun stuff there. I still gotta scan my hero and make sure I get them into my deck on the digital version. But super excited to have you guys on the show, man. I hope you guys win and we'll see what happens.
Hell yeah.
Let's do this.
And we'll just go in the order here. So we have Justin Gary from SoulForge. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Excited to be here. It's been super fun getting connected to the community, play some games, bring more people in, do the things that I love to do, and have, it's always good games, good times.
Awesome. And last but not least, of course, we have Mizzy. How you doing, bro?
Yo. Pretty good. I'm excited for this episode. I think SoulForge is the TCG that Ramen, Damien, and myself can agree we've all really enjoyed, and has kind of like reinvigorated our love for TCGs in Web3. So excited for this episode, and I can't wait to see what you guys cook up.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into the rules here real quick, and it's going to be a little of a process because I haven't done this yet on StreamYard, but we'll figure it out. So basically, you got to have an 85 or above average across all the bosses. Otherwise, you fail. Towards the end of each round, the audience will be voting on you or voting on X to see, just like show how you did on each boss. So if you get an 85 above all the bosses, you will be passing. If not, you failed. So with that being said, are you ready to play some boss battle?
Let's go.
Hold on. Somebody failed the boss. Craig spelled determined wrong. So failed.
Well, that was quick.
Like Detramine, it sounds like some like chemical inside of cough syrup. Like, yeah, that Detramine is crazy, yo.
Look.
I'm feeling very Detramine today.
I told you not to hire people off of Fiverr. This is what we get. Craig, I told you,
bro.
Well,
I don't know how long Craig can stand, bro. Like,
yeah, I mean, Craig has no legs.
Craig doesn't get the airdrop. He gets other jobs.
Dude is
okay.
All right, let's go into our first boss here. Please make us in production. So there's going to be a theme today. I don't know if you guys noticed, but question number 1 says, can you tell us how SoulForge came about? And the follow-up question to that, what was the inspiration and did your previous titles have any effect on it?
All right. So do I have like a time limit here? Or can I get into a cool story?
Oh, no. You can
all right, good. Because like this is a fun story to tell. So when I first started my company, now we're looking at 15 years ago, almost 16 years ago, I launched a game called Ascension. Our 15th anniversary is next year. So this is like a deck building game. It kind of took off. And so it gave me an opportunity the very next year. This is now going back to 2011. I got to speak at PAX Dev, right? So the PAX conferences, really cool gaming conferences all around the world. Now they had the one where we got to speak and, talk to other game developers. So I gave my talk, and then Richard Garfield, the creator of Magic the Gathering, was giving a talk. And like, my background, I come from the Magic world. Like I was U.S. national champion when I was 17 years old. I traveled around the world playing Magic. It's how I paid my way through college. Like that was like my whole life was determined by Magic. So of course I'm going to go watch Richard give a talk, right? Super exciting. So I'm in the back in the crowd taking notes during his talk. And then at the end of it, there's a Q&A. And somebody asked him, hey, what's your favorite game right now? And he says, Ascension. And like, I jump, like I literally jump up out of my seat and just like, woohoo, like a kid, and everybody like cracks up and starts laughing. But like, I didn't care. Like this was like life goal checked, And so I used that as an opportunity to go talk to Richard afterwards. And I kid you not, we talked for 3 hours straight, like just like dived in. And it was so clear that we wanted to make the exact same game, which was the original version of SoulForge back then. And this is before Hearthstone. This is before Magic Arena. This is before like any digital TCGs existed. And so we were like building the first native digital TCG, and that was SoulForge. And so we took elements from Richard's games and from my games to combine those together. So every time you play a card, that card levels up, and you actually shuffle your deck every 3 turns. So that really kind of builds that deck building element, like from games like Ascension, where you're like evolving your deck as you go. But you can customize your deck, and you have creatures battling, which takes the elements from Magic. And so it really was an inspiration from like both of our most iconic games coming together to build the original version of SoulForge, which now, again, we started working on that in 2011, and here we are in 2024. And that evolution of bringing that game from there now to Web3 and hybrid is like also an exciting part of the story, but that's like the real origin moment.
Wow. I love that. I really do like Magic the Gathering. I might get some heat for this, but I've always liked that more than Yu-Gi-Oh! I was like, Cloud's gonna yell at me.
I think it all sparked like an all-out like battle right now. Everybody spoke. No, I was just gonna say they're very different games in my opinion. So
yeah,
I think it's fine to like them both. Magic the Gathering is like a relic to TCGs, so like it's like important to like the culture of TCGs. So like to me, it's like when somebody says I like Magic the Gathering, I give my hats off to them because that's a tough game to fucking understand and play well and stuff like that. So, is what it is. But to me, Yu-Gi-Oh! Revolutionized what it is to like card design and do stuff like that, like bring the collection to value and like stuff like that collectability value.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think there are several things from Yu-Gi-Oh! That we did take for inspiration too, right? The fact that like we don't have like a standard resource system that you could just play any creature and just play it down and then it's going to fight, right? And two, that the idea that there's these like evolutions, right? We obviously levels, we call them in SoulForge Fusion, but like this idea that your creatures kind of evolve and over time they can get better is like, that just feels really good. That's really exciting. And so like that, I think is one of the best things that like made people come into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like it's simpler to get into and you have these kind of cool evolutions. And so that's something else that was an inspiration for sure. I think that's a big evolution for all of TCGs.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. Let's move on to the next question here. It says, what separates SoulForge from other TCGs in the Web3 space?
Yeah, quite a bit, man. I mean, so first of all, right, like with Richard and I teamed up to make this game, like there's no other game that has close to the level of like TCG experience and background. Like, Richard's the OG, made the whole category, designed the whole thing, right? And I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been making a living from TCG. So we come with a game player mindset first. And most of the TCGs that are in the Web3 space come from a, tokenomics Web3. Like they didn't come at this as a core gamer. So like the team and the experience that we have behind this, I don't think there's anybody else, there's plenty of great games, but I don't think there's anybody that compares to what we bring to the table. In terms of like what the experience of the game is a couple of things that differentiate us that other people aren't doing. One is, as you mentioned, right, you got a physical copy of the game. This is a hybrid game, which means you can have physical copies and you can have digital collection, and they're 1-to-1, meaning every physical deck can get scanned in your online account, and you just have it in your online account. You don't have to rebuy it. You don't have to do anything different. And then next year on our roadmap, you're actually going to be able to also, if you want to take your digital NFT deck and print on demand, you can do that too and have a physical version. So it's like this, it really crosses over. So like you love playing around, playing tournaments and going to conventions and doing that sort of thing, playing with your friends, you can do that. You want to just play online, you want to like, trade NFTs and do all that, you can do that. And so it's all connected, but also all stands alone. And I think that's like pretty revolutionary and pretty important for bringing new players into the space, right? Like Web3 gaming, I think it has a lot to offer. I'm a big believer in it, but there's a lot of doubters out there, man. There's a lot of people that are not like, that are skeptical, and frankly, for good reason, right? Again, because a lot of these things, they were not well thought through. It was tokenomics first, not gameplay first, not community first. And so we are here to say, look, no, like Richard is putting his name behind this, I'm putting my name behind this, and we're building it so that everybody can enjoy the experience they want to experience, and we build that community together.
Yep.
So,
I was going to say, like, the process that you're talking about reminds me back in the day whenever you had Yu-Gi-Oh cards and you could like type in the little numbers in the bottom of like the Game Boy games.
I was just going to say that.
You could like mint your cards. Yeah. Well, to me, it's like minting.
That was one of the best. That was one of the best TCG experiences that I've had, to be honest. That Yu-Gi-Oh game that allow you to basically have your real life deck inside the game if you wanted it, and that's super cool, man, that you guys are bringing back that culture, because like you said, it's something that resonates well with TCG players in my opinion.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, man, if there's anything, I think we may have over innovated with the cool stuff we're doing with SoulForge Fusion, because I got a bunch of other ones I want to rattle off before we're done with this part of the topic, right? Because like we got one, it's a hybrid deck game, which means every single deck is algorithmically generated to be one of a kind, right? I, as a pro player, right, when I was in my pro player days, and this is what happens now across all the competitive TCGs, right, everything gets spoiled really quickly. people find the best decks and they just copy the best decks. They just go for the same cards, and everybody just like coalesces around best case scenario, like 3 to 5 strategies. And often it's just 1 or 2, right? And that sucks. Like, it's just not like, so the fun disappears really quickly. But because SoulForge Fusion, every deck is one of a kind, you can't do that. You can customize, but you can't copy. And so you got to build a strategy around what you have. And so it creates a great collector's market because you can go hunting for the perfect deck for you. And it creates a great competitive space because you have to use the strategies and adapt to what's available to you. So I think that's been a big innovation that other people, that nobody else is doing in this space. Another thing we're doing that's really cool is we have a whole algorithmically generated campaign mode that you can battle against. So you can take your custom decks and not just battle against other people in tournaments and casual play, but also fight against bosses and earn XP for your deck and level it up and get cool new upgrades. Like, so there's this whole experience for those of you that don't necessarily want to be like super competitive or want to just like have that kind of fun adventure. We have that for you. And we also have a very immersive storyline world where you can actually like play in our storyline events. Like we did one recently at PAX Unplugged, like a physical event a couple weeks ago, and people who participated got to like dictate which of the factions was going to rise up and battle against the Dark Forge. And the top performing people, we write custom stories that attach to the NFT of your deck. There's only like I think 13 of these in the world right now, and you can earn it, and they can find all of them on soulforgefusion.com/story, and you can see how people influence the lore, and then those become super rare collectibles. And that's like a really cool thing, because I always loved, you watch Yu-Gi-Oh, you become immersed in the world, but imagine you can decide what happens with those characters. And that's just something I personally always wanted to be able to do. So that's what we built with SoulForge Fusion.
So just a quick follow-up to that. Is it kind of like games that I guess like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, where you like have an impact in the story's direction?
Yeah, but imagine that that's like globally, right? Not just like inside of your world, like your version of the game, but like everybody. So like when Cersei won the fight, like who's one of the like Forgeborn for the Necreum faction, like the undead queen, she sacrificed herself at the end of this last story. And so now her character is going to have some significant impacts about what happens down the road, and then how that impacts which cards show up in future sets and how powerful different cards are. So like that player and those people in that event changed the world for everybody, not just like in a game like Mass Effect where you just change your own world,
Wow, I like that. That's cool. I don't really recall card games ever having story modes in them, so this would be like a first for me. I don't know about you guys, the rest of the panel, but I've never come across a card game with a story mode. It's interesting.
No, you want to play the story mode so you can get the boosters, so you can get some gold, so you get some Phantom decks, and then go, dang it, now I got to spend money because I really like this Phantom deck. This is crazy because anybody that knows me, I'm not really a TCGer, right? I think it all kind of started. I was playing a little bit of WAGME, and then who was it? I think it was Caesar Apollo from 100X. Is like, yo, you got to check out this game. And I was like, what is it? He's like, a TCG, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I do it. And then it was weird because I just started. I wasn't telling anybody. I just got immersed into it, and then when Crimson told me that each one of these decks was its own individual thing, that's when I kind of FOMO'd in, because I was like, I've never seen that element before. Like when he said, wait a minute, you got 2 Shamblings in your deck? Because, when you get hit, I get energy back. He's like, that's really rare. And I said, I know. And that's the one I should have used in that last tournament, which I didn't. I tried using another deck. So it's kind of got that thing where, it's almost like building engines, right? Okay, maybe if I get this maybe a little bit of duration here, maybe if I change the heads on here. So to me, it reminded me of engine building, but with card decks, and just trying different applications to get the best result, except one's on drag strip times and then one's over here, in game. So I really enjoyed it. I think you're going to win this. I think you're going to win the first boss, because I'm going for you. I really like it.
Ramen, come on. We still got more questions to go through.
I know. My bad. Yeah.
Oh, you ain't got nothing, Frosty. Let's go.
All right, let's move on to the next question here. It says, what are the benefits of bootstrapping with Kickstarter as opposed to like a TGE?
Yeah, so listen, man, that's the world I came from. So that original version of SoulForge Fusion, the original version of SoulForge, we kickstarted again back in like 2011, 2012. We ran that first crowdfund, and so we built from the ground up. This has been built by fans, and we've done this like from where we get to build alongside them, which is something I really love, right? Like, and so that idea that like you are a part of what happened and you're getting rewarded with like product and with some of the opportunities to weigh in on decisions early, like I think that has been just part of our DNA as our company now for such a long time. And I think that TGEs and like the ability to give like tokens to your early adopters and to your players and to your fans, I think is another part of the same philosophy. So I don't like break them out as like totally different things, but I think if you have to have the right mentality, which is, look, I am building with our fans and I'm making a world where everybody benefits together, right? And that's like the biggest thing I saw and why I got excited about Web3, because what I've seen is a trend that's moved away from what like was one of the magical things about trading card games, right? If you play a game like Magic and you collect a bunch of awesome cards, you open up packs of cards, and then all of a sudden, like, you got a Black Lotus that's like, or you got Blue Eyes White Dragon or Charizard or whatever your game is, right? The super rare card that you paid $4, $5, whatever it was for that pack, but the value of that card, that's all yours, man. Like that's something that you get to have and own and like get excited about, and like you have these jackpot moments, and that's awesome. And the company makes plenty of money selling packs, and you get to make a lot of the like upside and get excited about things. And now when you see like the Web 2 TCGs like Hearthstone and Magic Arena and Marvel Snap and all the other ones that are out there, like they capture all the value. You can't like trade anything. You can't get that excited about opening packs because it's just like whatever. One thing's just good another. It's like all locked in. And the fact that you can build something now in Web3 that like reopens that door up, whether that be through tokens, whether that be through NFTs, that like everybody gets to win together, that's exciting. And so like the crowdfund idea was always like you have fans and people who are so excited about what you've built and what the thing you're creating that they're willing to like put money down up front and be a part of the thing and take that risk with you and be along for the journey. And now I think that what like TGEs and like the Web3 world is that next evolution of crowdfunding, of building with community, which is something I'm just very passionate about.
Definitely agree with that. Yeah, I think a lot of people try to use TGE as a Kickstarter, but it doesn't really work the same. Typically, it's like the opposite effect. Like it doesn't help launch anything, and it doesn't kickstart anything. Kind of like it a Kickstarter price, but it kind of like falls down to the wayside. So I kind of like the approach that you guys have taken.
Yeah, it's about honestly, it's just about building value first before trying to like make money. Before trying to like build and add value before you try to extract value. Like that's just kind of it. Like, and so whether it's crowdfunding, whether it's a TGE, whether it's like whatever, selling, you build something amazing, build something people love, get that in front of them. Even crowdfunds nowadays, like you have to be like, I don't, it's like Kickstarter. I call it kick finisher. Like you need to be like pretty damn far along and have something that's pretty enticing and exciting and like a clear vision if you really want to succeed. And I think the same is true in Web3. It's just people haven't like realized that. Like in the early days, it's like, okay, whatever, I've got a cool idea and I've got a white paper and like everybody's gonna throw money at you or whatever. Like, but now I think like people are wising up that like, this is hard. Making great games is hard. Like I've been doing this for 25 years and I still make mistakes, right? Like people would just like think they got a cool idea and do a TGE and then everybody's disappointed when it doesn't turn out like, they overpromise and underdeliver. That's the biggest problem. And I think it's I think it's something people are wising up to.
I think you hit it on the nail on the head though, which is something we don't really see a lot, is when you said it's really simple. Build something of value before you extract value. I think what happens is people are told this grandiose story and this speculative story about this thing of value that they are going to create first. So it's nice to kind of see a product first. And like I said, the just like the passion that you have in coming from the industry and taking the gamers first approach, I think naturally the money thing comes along with that because people will give it value, not so much you forcing value on it, if that makes sense. Like,
and if there's enough replayability there, they're definitely going to buy into not just the gameplay itself, but like all the other things you can get from the game too. So I agree with that. Yeah.
I just don't know anybody that goes into a game specifically. Like no one just gets into Pokemon because they're looking to day trade Pokemon cards, right? Like no one's like, I can't wait to dominate the market, like. But
they do have
because that's how it is in Web3 kind of on some games, right? Like,
I mean, they do have like a PSA. They do have like a PSA grading system. They do trade it, but like
I know. That's all trading cards.
But that's the exception, right? Like the rule really is like people are buying Pokemon or just cards in general. They want to use them and play with them, right? Like they're not going to just trade.
I mean, I can.
Busy's like I do.
Personal experience. Like when I was a kid buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I actually funded my Europe trip by selling my Legend of Blue Eyes boxes that were unopened. I have a friend that had the alpha beta sets in Magic, and he bought a house that way. So like some of us were collecting cards with the idea that they might one day be valuable. Obviously, like for every one Legend of Blue Eyes that I kept in the packs, there were like 20 that got open, but there was always that collector's value approach to it, at least when I was growing up. So and like I resonate with what Justin was saying. Like TCGs did definitely lose that magic over the last decade and a half or so. Like I think that was a big part of as to why I enjoyed TCGs, because there was always like, which card am I going to get? Which card might be in here? And you always knew that, you might be able to flip something on eBay in certain cases or something like that. And maybe even recoup some of the expenses. Like I wasn't, wealthy growing up. So sometimes I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna flip this on eBay for like $20 and like go buy more packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
No,
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for that stuff, man. I was the same. Like I grew up, like when I qualified for the U.S. National Championships, I couldn't afford a plane ticket to go to Columbus, Ohio to play. So what I did was I ran a tournament at my local game store, and enough people came and paid entry fees for that tournament. And I had given one of my rare cards as a prize and some set that I got enough to pay for the plane ticket. I slept on a buddy's floor at the site, and then won the U.S. Nationals and started making enough money to actually.
Oh shit!
That's
That's
awesome.
That's a fucking
right there.
Yeah, that's a hell of a
story.
That's a hell of a.
That's a clip.
For real, dude.
Flip that shit.
For real, dude.
Awesome.
That's like a bus move right there, bro. It's like,
Hell
I
yeah.
thought he was going to
across
sell
the
a card.
country,
He's
fucking-
like, I just started my own tournament and ran that like an underground gambling casino.
like
after
it would
9
have still
PM.
it would have still been dope if you would have lost, because at least you did all the traveling, all that stuff, and you still made it there, but you won that shit. So like that's base as fuck. Dude
I
won
feel like
the
I hear that
tournament.
Karate Kid song. You're the best. Never gonna get it done. You're the
Dude,
best.
Robin, did you know they're making another Karate Kid? Just
It's done. No, dude, it's
Yep.
done.
No,
It's like
they
Fast
made
and
like one with
Furious
Jet-
37. Like shit's
I know,
done.
but like they added Jackie Chan to it. It's crazy. Anyways,
It's done. Yeah.
let's get back on track here. We do have the poll live for boss numero uno. We got 2 questions left, so Craig, if you could post that into the chat, I would appreciate that. So the second last question says, what are the pros and cons of having a digital and physical game, or some people might call it phygital?
Well, so like as a designer, it's rough because you have to take into account the downsides of all the systems and design around them, right? So like when you're playing Soulforge Fusion physically and you want to like level up a card, you have to go to the side deck and pull a card and put it into the thing, which is like a little bit annoying. Whereas like you can it does it all for you, right, digitally. And whereas if it was a purely digital game, I could make I could have cards that have random things appear out of nowhere and have like a bunch of effects, and I couldn't design those cards because I had to make the game work physically, right? So like there was a variety of different trade-offs, and there's also like cool cards you could design physically where you just like write, oh, it just does this, but programming that card's a pain in the ass, right? So like from a creator's perspective, I took on like the hardest job possible. Like I needed to build the Web 2 game and the tabletop game and the Web 3 thing and have them all fit in. I think from a consumer standpoint, what we built is design. I mean, I bent over backwards to make it the best thing possible, right? Because you could play the tabletop game and never pay attention to the digital game at all, and it works just fine. You could play the digital game, never pay attention to the tabletop game, and it works just fine. For the games that like make you do both, where like I have to like scan my cards with the phone in order to like play on the tabletop, or I have to have a physical thing in order to like then sometimes it's a pain in the ass, right? And so like I'm very passionate about like exploring in this space. Like one of our company advisors is Jordan Weissman. He's the guy that created Shadowrun and BattleTech, and he's like done a lot of really cool like tech over the years where he's like tried to build these like physical digital games, and I've been exploring it for a while, and it's like always the phygital, as you put it, like it's just how do you get the magic of like both without the pain in the ass of both? That's very tough. So that's why we built Soulforge Fusion the way we did, where it's like, okay, everything stands alone. You could just, and they all support each other because the collection in the game is the same across the back end.
Yeah, and then like to add to your point, why it's such an issue to like make people do things to make the physical card become digital. It's like if I don't have a phone, or let's just say I don't want to be around my phone or whatever, I just want to play the card game. Or even better, I want to be socializing with my friends like back in the day where we didn't have phones, right? And that's a little pain point that you add to like, oh, now I have to take my phone out to scan this card to play. There's a little too many things in the way to get through the gameplay. But yeah, I agree with that point of view. I like that. What's up, Crimson Caravan? I can't say that. You can't talk to that. Stoneblade, what's up? What's going on? And make sure to vote, guys. We have. Let me check the poll here. We got about
Yeah.
8 minutes left on the poll.
I gotta go vote.
5 minutes. I'm wrong. We have 5 minutes left on the poll, so be sure to vote because we are on the last question of the first boss, aka Frosty. And it says, if you had the opportunity to change one character or pack, what would it be and why?
Change one character or pack, like of Soulforge or from any game of all time, or like what's I don't understand the question.
I think the question is directed at Soulforge. Yeah.
Okay, if I could change one character or one pack, I think that we had a lot of people that I thought this character was really cool, but a lot of people complained about Krogius.
Yes. Yes. Actually,
he's like, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Yes, bro.
I
Yes.
think literally can't be affected by anything. You're screwed at level 3. Maybe we could have given you an out or two there. I'll give you that. But the idea, for those that don't know, right, Krogius, one of the cool things about the game, the cards all level up as you go. And so one of the things that's really cool about that is you get to tell stories as the characters and the cards level. So Krogius starts off as the smallest creature in the game. He's just a 1/1, little cute little character, and then at level 2 becomes a cocoon, like a defensive wall cocoon, and then level 3 comes out as the biggest character in the game, 30 breakthrough, and then has an ability that just can't be stopped by the opponents, can't be targeted, can't be affected by their things.
Oh, dude,
and not only was that that was actually a real pain in the butt for our programmers to figure out what does that mean, can't be affected, what happens if you have to sacrifice a guy, what happens if you think, so it became a pain in the butt to implement, but it was we just went forward with it because it sounded cool, we wanted it to be badass. But we've had a lot of people complain about him, so maybe would have put in a little out or two there.
There's an out. There is an out, maybe, and it depends. This is the only out. Crimson, close your ears. Is if you make it, into the 4th deck cycle, and if you get lucky like me, and you've got Cersei with Soul Swap after you've got your 4 Bones of Solace. And I pick my character, which you've now drained to 1 HP, and I just swippy swap that with your player. That's it. That's the only way to do it. And I think that's kind of OP too. But yeah, damn it, Krogius.
So yeah, don't click that.
Listen, I'll be honest. I think the thing is for the most part, and again, I've got a very talented team of people that are working on this stuff. Our lead developer, Jason Z, that was also on the Pro Tour. And we spend a lot of time testing these things, and you can never get it perfect. But I don't think Krogius is overpowered. I don't. I think people it's nice for people to have something to complain about because there's always something to complain about, and I'd rather it be a giant monster like Krogius than some card that counter spells and stops anybody from playing games or shuts the game down, right? So we're never going to make it perfect, but I think we've done a pretty good job overall of making a fun high level game that's got a lot of different strategies that you can play.
So would you say it's a skill issue?
Yes, that's exactly what I'd say.
Get good, Ramen. Get good.
For sure, dude.
What?
There's always that one card, bro.
This is a get good economy, biatch.
Yeah. No. Listen. You play. I've got that card too. So I tell you what, Mizzy, let's play that, and you tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fine.
Oh my god, yeah. When I went there and I was like, "Oh, this is easy. I could just take away one of his character." Nope, I can't do anything. And breakthrough. Oh my.
This is great. We can have an East Coast versus West Coast matchup in Soulforge right here.
Love it.
Love it. Catalyst event right there. East
Bro,
Coast
I'm already winning on the fact that I have to use telepathy for the cards. I don't even have hands.
Out
of here.
Neuralink, Neuralink edition.
All right, Professor X. All right, buddy.
Not that far off.
All right, that is the first boss completed. So let's go over to our next segment, which is our special announcement. All right, I'm going to pass the mic to Mizzy to talk about this great piece of art that Damien cooked up here. Go ahead, my brother.
All right. As you guys know, it's that time, boss battle cartridge. For all of you OG gamers, obviously inspired by Nintendo, floppy disks, and all that great stuff that we all grew up playing. This is a free mint. It will have utility within the Catalyst ecosystem, which the product that's directly tied to this, I would say, will be dropping in Q1. So I don't know what the cartridge system is going to look like after that, but yeah, it definitely won't be this easy anymore. So go scoop it up. It's a free mint, SBT. Go scoop it up. We're going to drop the link in the chat. Post should be going out shortly as well. Hope the Soulforge team likes it. And back to the show.
Oh shit! You said it's not gonna be this easy anymore. I don't even know.
Nah,
what that
man. I
means.
mean, whatever you get from the cartridges, I can't. Obviously, I'm not gonna expose that. But once the platform's out, we're not gonna be making it this easy to just go and redeem certain things.
I feel
Wait, did
like
you say that we're getting something from these? Did you already drop something?
Yeah, I mean that's always been the idea, right?
I feel like Tom Holland in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's like if he's told anything, he's gonna leak it. So like, I just don't want to know. On that note, let's transition to our next boss, Craig. Take it.
Okay, I'm starting to get the theme.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully, Mrs. Claus knows that I have been very nice this season and will drop me lots of RNG that I need when playing cards. Apparently. All
That's
right.
Miss Claus. She's single.
Okay. Well,
That's before
currently
Santa.
I'm currently emotionally unavailable, but I'll bring in things later on here right now.
There you go.
Anyway,
Guy.
first question. Next, boss. Are you ready, Justin?
Let's go.
All right. Well, I guess we kind of touched on this from the last one, but are there any advantages to buying the physical decks over the digital ones? Do they come with some kind of perk or something special?
Yeah, I mean, so they're pretty much the point is that they're the same, right? So you can buy the physical decks and the digital decks, and you get the same RNG, you get the same opportunities to get different things. We don't make it as readily available to get all of the sets. So when you finding the physical sets that aren't as easy to get online, then you may be able to get some of the earlier. So like we have the Alpha set, Battle for White Fang Pass, and the Last Winter, the ones that have already been released. And you can also open full foil packs, and that's always fun. But in general, we tried to make it so that if you're a physical player or a digital player, you get the same experience. You can buy those, and you can sell and trade your physical decks. You can sell and trade your digital decks on places like Magic Eden. So the goal was to make the experience seamless and equal, regardless of where you come from.
No, that's cool. I think someone was asked, you know how it is in this space. They're like, wait, does that come with is it like if I have a Solana phone, do I get an SFT airdrop or something? And I'm like, no, man, I think I think you just get to do some pack breaks. It's really cool. And you get to play with some friends IRL. So good to know. Good to know. I like we're keeping it balanced. Next question. Expansion set 4 is up next on the roadmap. What can we expect from the set?
Yeah, so this is the first one that we're planning to release it as a digital first, right? So we're going to be doing that. So you'll be able to get access to it in the client before you're able to get access to it in stores. We're going to be launching our print on demand service as well next year. So there's a lot of really cool mechanics in it. I am not spoiling them on this call here. So maybe if I deduct points from it, so be it. But we've been working on it. We've been working on it for a long time. It's got a lot of really cool stuff. So new Forgeborn are coming. Tons of new cards. So I will spoil we did the math and it was 7,500 new cards. So you got that going for you. We have more cards already than Magic had in its 30-year history because of the way we build cards and design things. So it is always going to be awesome and lots of innovation. We're also going to be doing a pre-release event where you'll be able to play against Stoneblade teams. So if you get in on it early, we will let you know and you'll be able to play with us and earn some exclusive cool bonuses and cosmetics and collectibles and fun stuff like that. So that's what's coming. And it's being probably, well, I won't announce the exact date, but early 2025.
I have a follow-up, but I can't ask it because it's in the set of questions. So I'll just let Ramen do it.
Hey, don't take my thunder. Don't take my thunder. No, that's cool. That's cool. I think there's an event coming up or something this weekend too. I think Crimson hit me in the DMs. There's something about decks or whatever. So I'll have to look back into that. So lots of exciting things that are always happening. Next one. So, and I think we kind of went into this. Maybe Hato, that was the one you were going to ask. How does the balancing of cards work with physical decks? If a card is too OP, how do you change it if it's already printed? And I think you kind of touched on that a little bit.
Well, and here's the thing, and not only do I think we've done a very good job of developing and balancing the game, but everything, because it's built within the context of a given deck, right? A card can't be evaluated on its own. It's got to be evaluated inside of the deck that it's in, right? How does it combo with the other things that are there? How do you play that? The other thing we've done is we've created a really innovative system that no other TCG is even capable of doing, because every deck is one of a kind. Not only does the player get a ranking, right? It's pretty standard. You get a ranking depending on how good you are playing the game, but your deck gets a ranking too. And when you win tournaments, it moves from like bronze to silver to gold. And so if you want to play in the world championships, you have to have a gold deck to play. You have to have a high tier deck. But also it does the reverse, which is like, I can't play a gold tier deck in a bronze level event. And so the decks that are really good will be, you want those decks to be able to play in your high level events, but the system will remove them from the layers of competition where you would be crushing people, right? So it's actually like a really cool way that we've innovated to allow you to like evolve decks and advance them, so that they are not just like, you're not just like curb stomping the new guy that has their like 2 random decks and is ready to go. So we've balanced it, not just like to try to make the decks actually balanced and not broken, but also to make sure that like if a deck is too good, it'll quickly like advance and move out of the ranking, so it won't just be crushing people that don't have the good decks.
Man, y'all really thought this one out.
Been doing this a long. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, I've been working on this exact game for freaking 13 years now. So
Wow.
yeah, I hope so.
Over a decade of preparation. So he's
Yeah.
prepared. He's good.
No, and really been in it. You know, people are like, yeah, I've got 20 years in this experience over at EA, worked there. Be like, dude, you were the janitor. Like,
you answered phone calls. What do you mean?
Yeah, you were in HR. What are you talking about?
I mean,
You
man,
wiped the
listen.
windows. Like,
We've got
70
30 years of combined industry experience, not in the actual development, but at the companies with the name that we're riding that horse. Yeah, no, it's
took inbound calls.
I'm just gonna
Answer
say
emails.
7,500 new cars. That says a lot right there. You know,
That's
so, like,
crazy.
that's crazy.
And
Yeah,
there
And,
must
and,
be some
you
challenges to,
mentioning
like,
that
balancing.
every deck is
Yeah.
basically one of one. You know, like that's a lot of
Are they
card designs
serialized?
and different things to do, man. That's crazy that you guys went.
Yeah, and I can tell you a little bit more behind the scenes here, right? So we use the algorithms that we build the cards with and we build the decks with. There's a lot of things that are built into them to make sure that the decks like fall within a certain band. So we have systems like if any of the cards or things like start to go like out of our power band acceptance, then it flags them for us and we can go look at them and like change the algorithm to make sure that like those fall in line. And also we have all the decks make sure that they like have a certain level of a minimum level of synergy, right? So like you're never going to get a deck that has like a zombie lord but no zombies, right? Like you're not like, it's built so that you don't get these decks that don't make any sense.
Right.
And so we spent a lot of time making sure that the algorithm like would put out decks. Like obviously some decks are better than others. That's fun to look for. That's part of the collection, but they fall within a band. So you never have something that's unplayable and you could be hunted for that like perfect match as you like pair them in the future.
Nice. Love it.
Super
Love all the answers so far. Love it. All right. This is one I think that people are excited about. We're second to the last question. Then we're going to get into a great ad read from our sponsors and jump into the lightning round after that. But I want to know, are there any plans to utilize the game's IP in any anime, comics, or manga or anything to that nature in the future?
Oh, dude, hell yes. I'm so excited about that stuff. So basically, if you look at soulfortrusion.com, you can go to the story page. We have a bunch of videos and short little clips that we've made, like telling the story and animating the art, like in light form. But we've spent so much time building this world, and it's a world that we've also co-created with the fans. And so I'm very excited about building like anime and building like comics and building things that flesh out the world. Like right now, it's like, I think most of that stuff, like short clips, we'll probably keep doing in the short term, but like, so probably not 2025, but continuing to flesh it out going forward. And frankly, like one of the things that I love about Web3 is, right, the majority of our token pool is in the community fund, and we're going to be unlocking governance and control over how that gets managed kind of, slowly over time, but it'll start even as early as January. And I want there to be this fund to be rewarding. Like maybe fans want to be the ones that create this anime. Maybe they want to be the ones to create the comics and help build that out. And I think that should be rewarded for doing that. Like anything that helps build the community and build the IP and like collect, just the same way people who play in the tournaments get to collectively design what's happening by playing. I think people who are great at, maybe you're not great at playing in tournaments, but you're great at telling stories. You're great at like animating. You're ready to like, I want those people to be a part of our community and to be able to be rewarded and like have everybody kind of grow the community and grow the story together. Like I'm very passionate about that stuff.
Yeah, what's a little bit of a side question from that, like for those that you've already had that have affected the lore, like what does that feel for them? Because it seems like that's something, like you said, it's very new to this kind of community and crowd. So I mean, like even seeing something like, I know some games that help some people to help playtest games, and they see their names like in the credit, and that's just freaking cool, right? But to see that you made an impact on the actual outcome in the lore, I mean, that's got to be really cool for like the fans.
Yeah, it's something that they can really, they're permanently a part of this world. Like, listen, I grew up playing Magic, and you guys, you played Yu-Gi-Oh! If that was your thing, or Pokemon, whatever, like, that becomes a part of your identity, right? Like, that's like kind of who you are. Like, all your friends, you're hanging out doing that, you become so invested in it. And so that being able to like affect that too and become a permanent part of that, right? Whether that be from doing well in a tournament, or telling the story, or being a part of the art, or getting to design a card, or getting to be like I want to give as many opportunities for people to be able to like express themselves and be part of this world and this community. Like, that to me is like where the real magic comes from. That pun not intended, but whatever. Like, where the real, like, why we're here, and like what makes something like that will stand the test of time. A great game is the starting gate, right? You got to have that to be able to bring people in, and then building that supportive community, and then giving them the opportunity to make it their own. Like, that's how you build something that lasts decades.
Like you said, that's how you bring the magic. That's what gives this game soul.
Hey.
See what you did there. By the way, guys, the poll is live, so go ahead and vote on how Justin is doing against Mrs. Claus. Also, the badge link is in one of the chats that you're in, either YouTube, Twitch, or X. So click that link to mint your badge. It is absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a dime. Back to you.
I just want to check this. Unfortunately, you're unable to claim the QR code has expired. Please rescan. I don't know. We might want to double check that link for the badge.
Updated the link. It's on an edited tweet on the account.
Yeah, I already took a screenshot of me getting the badge, so it's a skill issue at this point.
Damn it, dude, I'm just losing like back to back. Hey, I'm gonna have to play some.
Look, I can't talk today. You're just taking L's. It's all good.
Addis watching us over on Twitch. Ramen with the top tier dad joke. You can always count on Ramen to come flush with that.
I love it.
And then having the same issue, Addis, that we just updated the link. So go check it out again.
All right. Well, this is going to bring us to the last question of Mrs. Claus, as evil and kind of hot as she looks. I'm not sure. She's got the crazy eyes. I'm going to avoid that situation, right?
All right.
This one's going to be the one. Listen, Otto.
All right.
All right. The last question. This is the one I think that plagues all Web3 games, but most important. So what is the strategy to bring in the next batch of players into the game?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. That is the big challenge, right? So it's a multi-tiered approach. Like, again, one of the things that's great about SoulForge Fusion is that we can bring in tabletop players, we can bring in Web 2 players, and we can bring in Web 3 players. And so we've got a strategy for all of those, right? For tabletop players, we're going to be, that's the audience I know and that knows Richard and I the most. We're going to conventions, we're going to stores, we're launching new products, we're bringing things to them. For the Web 2 community, we're doing not only some traditional paid ads, we're working with some influencers to bring people in. And again, the game is free, so we get lots of reasons for people to kind of come and try it. We just keep putting that out in front of people. When it comes to Web 3, honestly, like, I think the best part is exactly what's happening right here, right? You guys like the game, you genuinely have played it, you share it authentically. I get to come here and chat with you and share what's true for me authentically, and I think that's what resonates with people. Like, Web3 even more so than, like, and again, the game is free, soulforge.com, you can play it on Steam, you can play it, try it. Like, if you love it, join the community. If not, cool, right? Like, so it's like this thing where Web3 is as much about that, like, that community and story and vibe and being able to just like really share the vision of what's happening, as well as, hey, we actually have a great product at the core of this. So like, I want to just get the word out about, who I am, who we are, what's up, and people that genuinely resonated with it, like you guys, like that. I see that snowball effect happening. I mean, again, we launched this thing only like 3 months ago, the Web3 features. We only launched the free to play digital a month before that. And it has just been like skyrocketing because people, not because of what I do, but because of what, you guys do and other people do, who are like, hey, this is awesome. Come check this out. Come battle me. Come try this thing. Like, that's how these things really can grow. And so that's the core of our marketing, quote unquote, marketing strategy.
No, that works. And I think you guys working with an advantage because, like I said, you already know how to run. Like you said, you literally had a tournament to get a plane ticket to go to the finals. So, I mean, you're no stranger to organizing these events in IRL, which I think if you think a lot of these games, there's big missing pieces with that because a lot of times you have to wait for an event or, GDC, or you got to wait for an NFT or Web3 event to go and showcase the game. But you can do SoulForge anytime, anywhere, pick a shop, you can run your tournaments. And I see that you're currently doing that right now and like balancing really well between, I think there's a lot of like online play and the user base. I didn't realize how big it was. Like, I actually don't spend a lot of time looking for games in SoulForge, which when I first booted up, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes for a game. And there's usually always somebody on. And that's a great thing to be able to actually play somebody. I like campaign, but I like testing out my deck against live people, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's always good to play against people and feel like it's, you know, a community. Nothing draws a crowd like a crowd, you know, like having other people to play against and like,
True
you know,
that.
and I think that there's another piece of what I would, you know, call our marketing strategy is a lot of what you said, which is just like keep putting cool shit out there, you know, like just keep doing things that are going to like we're launching new features, launching new sets, having tournaments, having events. Like we're going to be launching a new like holiday event in app where you'll be able to play with phantom decks and potentially turn your phantom deck into a real deck by playing in the tournament. We're going to have like a ton of like so in essence, like content is marketing, like, right. Like the idea that we're going to keep like momentum going. And we have a, you know, we're a small team, but like everybody is super passionate about it. And so we put out our roadmap just a couple weeks ago of like what we're building in 2025. And like, because I have so much experience doing like, especially like card content releases and running events and doing that stuff, Richard and I mean, I've been doing this for decades. That sort of stuff is just second nature. So that's in a sense for us, the easy part. And then adding in new features and adding in new things that are more, you know, pushing the boundary of what Web3 governance and how the tokenomics can work and more utility for that is the other layer that I like fun for me as a game designer. Cause I just think about that as like its own game to design. Like, how do I get to incentivize people to be excited to be a part of the community? What parts make the most sense for the community to own versus the ones that we, you know, want to keep centralized, like the core design decisions, things like that. I find that to be just such a fascinating time to be doing the work that I do and to be able to do that like in public with a community that's also passionate about the game.
Yeah.
All right, Robin, before we hit to the ad read, let's ask this one more question here from someone from the audience. Addis said, it might have been covered, but what made you choose Solana as a chain over others?
Yeah, we're soulmates.
That's a good one.
No,
like
I have a better answer. In reality, we did a lot of research, right? And so I was not 100% on bringing Soulforge Fusion to Web3 when we started. It was one of the options I was excited about, but it was something that I wanted to research, and a lot of it comes down to sort of, you know, the real like cost and like what's the value to the user. Right. And so Solana was a very like easy to build on platform. And it was a very low transaction cost platform. It had a lot of like advantages to it compared to the other tech that we evolved. So it was like from a pure technological play, I think they had the best tech when we moved down this road, and they believed in us too. They became one of our investors. They helped to promote us as well, and we really did like connect on a vision level. And I think their technology and what they had built in the platform was the best when we were doing the evaluation. So that was the main reason. And yes, the fact that we're soulmates was just a nice, cute.
Awesome. Love that answer. Well, let's move on to our ad read, and then we'll have the lightning round come in right after that. Are you kidding me? Not again, dude.
Are you tired of losing, Crypto Hollow?
What's that sound? It sounds familiar. Who is that?
It is I, the Demon King, and boy, do I have the solution for you!
Holy moly, it must be my birthday! Welcome to the Geist, world's first members-only Layer 3 blockchain built for gaming. Powered by Aavegotchi, Base, Arbitrum, and Alchemy, it's where the brave come to play. Geist isn't just another blockchain, it's here to change on-chain gaming as you know it. Finishing bots and endless player churn, our exclusive member unlocks scarily good rewards across every game on Geist. With the spectral speed of Arbitrum, you'll experience fast transactions in a native NFT marketplace through the Aavegotchi Bazaar. And for those daring to build, Geist grants permission, contact deployment, and spellbinding tools from Alchemy to make your mark. Don't get left in the shadows. Join the on-chain gaming revolution. Chat, yeah, I'm talking to you, chat. Did you guys know that Arbitrum's got some fire games for you to try out? From racing and kitty kart to battling and golden ties, Arbitrum's got it all. Want to be a pirate? Pirate Nation is calling you. Feeling adventurous? Explore Meiji on the Zai subnet. Or if you're into strategy, Maelstrom on the Uprising chain is your jam. Don't take my word for it. Try it out for yourself and level up your gaming life on Arbitrum today. Warning, these games give you too much hype. Follow Arbitrum Games for more. Crypto How to approves this message. All right, we're back, guys. I hope you guys enjoy those ads. I had fun doing those ads. By the way, I'm wearing the same shirt. I just realized I had the
Wait,
same
what?
shirt on.
Yo, did you just record that?
No.
Did that just happen?
Yeah.
Impressive.
Was that live? Was that live?
Swap
I only
the hat
have
and was
one
ready
of
to
this
go.
Yeah.
No,
My
My
yeah,
lucky shirt.
shout outs to our sponsors, our Geist and RevGG and Warden for supporting the Catalyst shows. But let's move on to our next segment, which is the lightning round. I know we said we'd fix it next week, but I promise next week is the week. Okay.
Sure, bro. Sure. I'm losing hope. All right, Justin. So this is when I take over the show for a little bit. I'm gonna ask you with a bunch of random questions that technically have nothing to do with the conversation we've been having so far, but they kind of do. And the whole point is to do it as quickly as possible. I usually give the guests 3 minutes to answer as many as they can. Hopefully, you can get through all 10 questions that we have here today, and let's have some fun. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, just to keep it real, I am gonna start a timer for you. You know, we gotta keep it fair. So here we go. First question: if you could name your ultimate fusion deck, what would you call it?
Boss battles, baby.
Let's go.
Hell
What's
yeah.
what's the first card you played if you were trying to impress someone in Soulforge Fusion?
Scorchworm dragon or Scorchmane dragon. Sorry, yeah, I like that little egg turned into a giant fire breathing beast.
I literally have that card. If you could wait, your AI opponent suddenly develops a personality. What's the sassiest thing it says after beating you?
The sassiest thing that the AI can say. GG, human.
if you could design a card with a completely ridiculous ability, what would it do?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell a quick story. So I designed when I was designing the DC trading card game back in the day. I created a card for Shazam or for Captain. And that you actually had to get up and shout Shazam for Captain Marvel to get him to do the power. And so it was the first time anybody had ever done that in the game, and it was awesome when I went to the pre-release and hear people just shouting from around the room. Anyway,
that's
Love
fucking
that.
hilarious, dude.
That.
That's
Yo,
awesome.
what?
You're stuck in a Soulforge fusion tournament, and your opponent challenges to a dance off instead of a mash. What's your signature move?
shuffle, but
Every day we're shuffle. Which would you rather have? A deck that guarantees a win every time, or a deck that looks insanely cool but loses a lot?
oh, I can't. I gotta win, man. I'm too competitive, man. Okay,
I feel that,
if I
brother.
was losing all the time, I'd lose my mind.
I feel that. I don't think I would enjoy that either. If your fusion deck could come with a theme song, what would it be?
Damn, that's a good question. I don't know. I'll just say, well, first thing that came to my head is
WWE
Eye of the
stuff.
Tiger would just be hilarious. So I was like, I want to hear that every time I'm coming into a match.
That's it. Let's go. That's a classic. What's the most dramatic way you'd announce I'm playing my final car?
Oh man, what's up? Damn. Most dramatic way announcement says probably so. That's game, boys.
If you could trade your favorite car for an unlimited supply of pizza, will you do it?
Yeah, for sure. Unlimited pizza. Damn. I mean, come on.
Damn, any car, your favorite.
Who would
I
say
mean, it's
no
not
to
like
that?
I can never
It's free
get another
food.
card again, right? Like unlimited pizza. That is like
That is a tough one, man.
That
All right,
is amazing.
last
like
one
also
here.
is it like is it just the same pizza? Like any kind of pizza I want? I
Damn,
literally went to
nah,
a
I
pizza
mean-
festival in Naples in Italy, and it was like the best time of my life. I mean,
Yo.
I felt terrible afterwards, but I like
you-
actual festival of pizza. I love.
Did you have pineapple on pizza though?
I have had pineapple and pizza. They didn't serve that in Italy though. They would. I
Thank
think
God.
they kick you out of the country if you
Nice.
do that.
I wish
Nice.
Damon was here. I wish Damon was here to hear that. All right, yo. Last question here. When you're feeling sick, what is your go-to remedy?
Oh, Mama's chicken soup, man. I like her recipe is where that makes everything from scratch. She's got that like so whenever she makes it for me, that's when I would feel better. Now I got the recipe, so I make it for my family. I always have some in the freezer when we need it.
Dude, let's fucking go.
Love
That's right through the soul right there. That's awesome. All right, man. That was all the answers. You actually did great. You had like 16 seconds before we finished off there, but we kind of got sidetracked there at the end. But you did awesome, and that was a lot of fun. We're gonna kick it back to the show now. We're gonna take on the final boss here. Craig, take it away.
Yo, shout out Damien for all the fire art today. He
So
actually came up
sick.
with all the art. And this was actually his music selection. So shout outs to him for that as well.
W
beats
to the
went hard.
chat for Damien, yo.
Absolutely. You know what? You know what we gotta do, Cloud? We gotta put some air horns in the fucking show right now. Cause like yo, shout out Damien for all the great work you do in Catalyst, especially the artwork. That was fucking phenomenal. Love it.
Let's fucking go.
I was expecting the ding. All right. Question number 1 says, and by the way, this round I will do one question and then Ron will take over the next question and we're gonna alternate. So
Okay.
what steps are being taken to ensure this game is being streamed as much as possible on Twitch and YouTube?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're doing, of course, we've got our own, our own team that's going to be streaming and putting out more regular streams. We're also, offering, bribes to people if they can beat our team on stream, then they get some SFG. But one of the other things we're doing, a couple things. One is adding in more animations, more clear things so that when people watch, they can understand what's going on and make it a better game to stream. We're also launching our season 1 achievement point system, where we'll actually be awarding bonus points in the season if you stream. And so you can link your stream and post it and we'll give you bonus points for it. So we're actually directly kind of incentivizing people to do that. We understand that streaming and watching streams is like one of the most important mechanisms for discovery. It's one of the most important mechanisms for helping people to feel like they're a part of the community, even if they don't necessarily feel comfortable or don't understand the game. They can watch other people play and become a part of it. So yeah, it's a big priority for us. So make the game better to stream itself with better animations, better guidance, make it easier to watch. Do our, walk the talk by actually streaming ourselves and giving people incentives to join our streams, and then giving people direct incentives to stream, and both for in-game points for anybody to do it. I don't care how many followers you have. I don't care if you got 2 people watching your stream, as well as partnering with other people who have have audiences and want to kind of come and join the ride and become. Actually, I think if it's not posted already, then very soon we're gonna have our Forge Guardian program live, which is kind of like if you want to become one of the kind of influencers and alphas in our community, you can apply on our website, and then you get extra bonuses and some cool exclusives and giveaways. You can cool free DAX and other giveaways you can give away on your stream too.
Nice.
Awesome. No, I love that answer. I think that Twitch and YouTube are kind of like the meta now when it comes to like free advertising. And I say free meaning like if somebody wants to stream a game, they can. And if like the game company or org is supporting those people, it's only going to add fuel to that fire to like get people in the door. So I love that answer. Kicking it over to you, Robin, for the next question.
I've got so many questions to ask about so many SoulForge things after hearing that, but yes, we will stay on track. Name one thing you are looking forward to the most in 2025 in regards to SoulForge.
Yeah, for me, it's really like turning on community governance and starting to have like that engagement and intersection where people really get to feel ownership of the fund and ownership of like some of the future direction, who in the community deserves support, what other features should we be developing, what types of tournaments should we run. Like I think it's one of the revolutionary things about Web3 that if you can build that system right, you can incentivize and build a self-sustaining community that grows and continues to like push further than even I could as the core designer. So I think doing that right is something I'm really, really excited about. And we're going to be starting to roll that out, in January.
Wow, that sounds cool. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, we're going to shoot this back over to Hado for the next question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The next question says, if you could collab with any IP to be featured, a new SoulForge deck, what would that be?
Oh man, that is tough. There's so many cool ones I would want to do. I think I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, and I think it would be dope to bring Frodo and gang onto this into the world. So that's kind of the first one that comes to mind. But there's so many cool things we can do in that space, and I'm excited about it. But yeah, that's the first one that comes to mind.
That would be an interesting collab. That's interesting.
I have done some design work in the background on things I think would be really cool for that.
I feel like Lord of the Rings would go pretty well with you guys' IP already. Like I think that goes pretty well.
Yeah,
I see it.
I definitely agree. Let's get over to Ramen for the second to last question. And guys, keep your eyes peeled on the chat. The poll should be going live any minute now.
All right, make sure to vote. All right, I think we've been on this a couple times. I keep getting questions that we kind of already covered, but I'm gonna shoot for this anyway because I want to hear more about it. What is the importance of community for your team, and can you give us an example where the community has helped with the shaping of the project? Which I think you kind of said with the lore, but
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of answers there, so don't worry about retreading this ground, right? Because like
Okay.
it's just we both like we some of the things we've already talked about, right? I mean, they crowdfunded the game from the very beginning, from day one, right? The community was involved. The SoulForge would not exist. SoulForge Fusion would not exist without the fans being a part of it. We have the lore and the fact that they can influence the lore and the story of the world. That's stuff that we've already talked about. But there's a lot of things where people will like before we posted the roadmap that we just posted a couple weeks ago, we posted it in our Discord and we said, hey, what things do you want to see the most? Like, let fans vote on that. They've had the same thing with like, different bugs and features they want to prioritize. And so like they help us to shape, even today, they've helped us to shape all of those decisions about what types of features we want to build, how we move forward. And it's like it's an interesting balance to strike, right? Because you want to listen to your community. I think it's really, really important to listen to your community. I'm involved in the Discord all the time. Anybody can, message me on Twitter or wherever else, or X, whatever the hell it's called now. And we will listen, and where we think it makes sense, we will follow. But also, I won't always agree with the community, and that's important too, right? Like there's a design vision and direction. I will tell you, when we first announced we were going to Web3, the Web 2 audience like revolted. Like there was a lot of hate. We got review bombed on Steam. We had a bunch of people, that came at us. And I was like, look, here's why we're doing this. And for people that had legitimate fears where they didn't know about security, or they had misinformation where they thought that, blockchain was destroying the planet or whatever, right? I was upfront and I was like, here's why this isn't true. Here's how we're going to help you through this. Here's the realities. And we like worked through that with the community. And so I did AMAs, I did spaces, I was, answering things in Discord. And I think that mattered a lot, that listening and being reactive and showing that you're hearing people, even if you're not necessarily going to do exactly what they want you to do. I mean, in game design, this is like a well-known thing, right? If you did what the players directly asked you to do in the games would be terrible, right? People never want to, people always want to draw their best cards. They always want to have everything work out for them. And it's actually that like tension that makes games great, right? Not always getting what you want and having to struggle for that. So I think that always listening and being connected to the community and, making sure that they feel heard is the absolute critical baseline. Everything else stems from that.
No, that's wild. You can't let the community go too crazy when it comes to that, right? We talk about like scope creep and things like that, about adding too much and then taking too much in, but I think you're doing just enough to keep everybody like immersed, into the actual game and the lore. So I think you guys are doing a great job with that. That's an excellent answer. I'm going to pass this back to the very last question for Krampus, back to Hado. Good luck, sirs.
I thought you were about to call me Krampus for a second there. Hold up. All right. The last question says, what kind of live ops does your team execute to keep players engaged?
Yeah, so we touched on this a little bit already, but like basically I think about it as like, all right, what are you getting daily? What are you getting weekly? What are you getting monthly? What are you getting seasonally, right? And every time you want to be giving you more and more cool stuff to go. So we got daily quests that refresh every couple hours, you get a new quest. So you've got something to do and engage with, right? We have different weekly events, whether that be our tournaments, our streams, or in-app events that are happening. Every month we have bigger prize tournaments, and we're having a new season that we're going to be announcing coming into January, where some, big SFG prizes and other things that are happening. We're planning to have obviously new cards releases that we mentioned. Set 4 is coming out, new content that comes in that way, obviously new in-app sales and deals, and a continuous stream of features and cool new things that are coming, right? We just like with that's a big part of it. So every 2 weeks we've got something to announce. We've got something that we're pushing out there. And again, the fact that we have so much experience when it comes to creating card content, creating tournaments, creating events, we launched our second campaign with the Scorchworm campaign not that long ago. Like, so that there's always cool new stuff for people to do. And there's cyclical stuff that will keep, that you're going to be coming and getting your new quests and getting your new rewards and getting your new deals and all that stuff. So there's a kind of baseline live ops, and there's like a continuous feature development live ops, and there's a bunch of really cool, crazy new shit we're doing live ops. And so we're doing all of those things.
Awesome. Love that. Love to hear it. Well, we have come to the end of the questions. We have about 6 minutes left on the poll. The votes look pretty solid, but if you want to like kind of shout yourself out, tell everyone why you deserve an 85 or above, or pretty much just like an A overall for what you've done today. Like now is your chance.
Little self-promotion here. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I crushed it. I think we got ourselves. The reality is like I've been just having fun. I mean, first of all, I'd never done a show like this before, so this is dope. So
That's
win or lose,
awesome,
I
dude.
feel like I won because this is awesome. These are awesome art and boss battles. You guys have been really fun to chat with. So like, I feel like having a good time here and just being genuine is what it's all about. So I felt that vibe from you guys. I reflected it back. So if that ain't winning, I don't know what is.
Dude,
Oh,
and to quote you real quick, that's game, boys.
I like the little high pitch too.
You gotta do the card placement and everything, bro. That shit was
Yo,
awesome.
2 fingers down, 10 toes
Yeah,
in.
dude,
Let's go.
the little you grab. That's how you know you're a pro player, bro. You grab the card like this, you're like, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You got
That's
it.
the finishing blow. Like,
Alrighty. Well, we can kind of just wrap up the results here and go into everyone's favorite part of the show.
uh-oh.
We go into the results. How did Justin do against all these bosses? We're about to find out right now.
We can't hear you.
Boo, Craig. You can't hear me?
We couldn't hear you for a second.
You want me to shout? Okay, the results are in.
Oh,
The
Jesus.
results are in, guys. Now, this one was interesting, okay? Justin, on boss number 1, he scored 100 out of 100. Boo, baby! Not bad. Not too shabby.
Game.
Hold on. Boss
Love
number
it.
2. He scored 100 out of 100 again.
What?
Damn.
Is that a first?
Wait, is that
Come on, flawless victory, baby.
Back to back.
that is crazy if it's a flawless victory, bro. That'll be
Have
the
we had a
highest.
flawless?
My friends-
No, that
my
would be the
friends-
I don't
first
think we've
time
had
ever.
a flawless. All right.
That'll be
My
the first
friends-
time ever. Let's see.
Justin's got 100 on the last one, too.
No, fucking.
Means he got
No
100%.
fucking way.
Absolutely destroyed all the bosses. He melted Frosty. Like, he did everything, bro.
Dude came with a flamethrower.
Wait, how many episodes? And then 48 episodes and no flawless victory?
48 episodes. That's the first time we've ever had 100%
Finish
at a boss
him.
battle.
I don't
Yeah,
even
there
think
we
we
go.
have a sound effect for flawless victory.
Dude, we
No,
should
but we need to add one now for
Yeah.
Justin.
Oh, we gotta clip your thing. That's game, bro. We're putting that in.
Yeah,
You got to put it
yeah,
We're
dude,
taking that one,
we
bro.
definitely got to put that at the end.
That's
or
it,
something.
you
That would be
heard that.
perfect.
We
That
should
is
make you a
definitely game,
commemorative Discord soundboard. Like, that's game, bro.
Yeah,
Yes.
he just absolutely destroyed all 3 bosses, man. How you feeling, Justin?
Feeling great, man. I feel like a winner, man. I'm gonna go start gambling here. This is we doing good. We doing good. I'm feeling hot
Yeah.
tonight.
Let's fucking
I'm
go.
ripping
dude.
packs
Wow.
back to back.
Oh yeah. Well, Mizzy, I know you like to talk about what our winners win, so I'm gonna kick the mic over to you for just a second, if you don't mind, my good sir. If you're there.
If you're there. I think Missy.
can't-
At a loss for words, bro.
Okay.
Like
Oh, yeah.
when I designed this show with the squad, I never thought we would end up with a flawless victory, like ever.
Yeah,
So,
man.
shout out to you, Justin.
And on a new set of bosses too. Like,
It was very well deserved.
for real.
Congrats, and
I appreciate that.
can't wait to play the game more. Like, I mean, we've already been enjoying it, but I don't know. Like today, it's like I feel like even more amped up for it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
festive,
but shout out to you guys. Like, I'm genuinely like just wow, mind blown.
right?
But for sure, yeah. So when you win boss battle, you do get a boss battle trophy that will be rolling out very soon. It's a part of the release with the utility that it comes with. There is utility for the developers that come on boss battle and actually win. So we'll be giving you more information on that when the time is ready. And I'm gonna have to throw in something special for you, man. You won flawless victory, so that is actually fucking crazy. Like, I never thought we'd see it. So congrats, man. Congrats.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. The trophy is now
Absolutely.
Justin sitting in a throne.
Holding the card, like
Yeah. That's Game
Hell yeah.
Boys.
And honestly, because you won, now SoulForge is going to be giving redemption codes for everybody here on the show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm only like
Everybody's a winner.
Dude,
Yeah.
everybody.
You get a code.
Making it rain.
Oh my god.
Oh, that
Robin,
was
you
awesome.
almost
If
you almost clickbaited the entire internet, bro.
No. If you do that, though, last winter packs are preferable. But yeah,
On that note, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's episode. This is more non-copyrighted music. That's Boss Battle episode 48 featuring Soulforge. Justin, hope you had a great time, and we'll see you soon. Chat,
I'll be back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chat, we'll see you next week, I think, at the same damn time, same damn place. Peace.
Peace.